Philippines, good evening. Naimbang garabi, masanto siya sa labid sigo amin, maya pa bengi keka marahin na banggi sa indugubos maupay nga gabi ha iyong tanan maradyo na duyom sa idyo hurut. Mayong gabi ka rin yung tanan. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. Ako po si Espina at ito po ang inyong Republika. Well, tonight we're going to talk about Region 7. Peace and order, law and order in Region 7. We'll get a new update. And we're very fortunate to have none other than Police Brigadier General Albert Ignatius Ferro. He is the Director of Region 7. Good evening.
Good evening, Sir Eric.
First question, bakit Ignatius?
Actually, my father was a former Jesuit apprentice in Ateneo de Manila. And after, I think, 2 years, he was not physically good. He went back to the province in Naga, where I was born. So he finished college, then become a teacher.
Okay, so he wanted to become a priest.
Yes, sir.
Wow. My goodness, if he became a priest, we
I'm
would not be
not
having this
here.
interview. Yes. How many brothers and sisters?
I have only one sister and four brothers.
So 5 all in all.
We are all six.
6
Five boys and one girl.
One girl, okay. And the Ferros are from Naga.
Actually, the Ferros are from Quezon
Quezon. Okay, where in Quezon?
and Mauban, from Mauban, Quezon.
Oh my goodness. I'm an adopted son of of Quezon. I know many of them from sila Willie Inverga.
Yeah, my cousin.
Benny Marquez.
We are related to the Imbergas.
Yes. I've been to their house, to the school, a small world. But how did it happen that you ended up going to Naga?
My grandfather was a surveyor, and he was assigned in the Bicol region from Quezon to I think they were measuring a lot of lands during that early years of the Philippine Republic.
And they decided to finally stay in Naga?
Yes, they finally decided to stay in Naga.
But you still have relatives from Quezon?
Yes.
And you managed to traverse going Quezon, back to Naga?
Yes, sir. When I was still young, we have this PNR, this railway system.
Yes.
That from Naga City to Lucena, to Calawag, and to the other parts of Quezon Province.
And among all the 6 siblings, you're the only one that's in the service? Somebody's in the military service? Did somebody become a priest?
Unfortunately, no one was able to have that vocation, sir.
But you are the only one in the service, therefore?
I'm the only one, sir.
The others are all in their civilian lives. They're all doing... Is anybody abroad?
Most of my siblings are in Naga.
I see. Okay. Why did you join? Why did you choose to become a policeman?
Actually, during the early years of 1990s, REPUBLIKA, the creation of the Philippine National Police, transfer us from Philippine Constabulary to now the Philippine National Police.
Were you in the? You were not in the Philippine Constabulary.
I was with the.
You were with the PC already.
PC, yeah. And my first assignment was Region 11. From the Special Action Force, we have our SAP Ranger training, and then we were reassigned to Mindanao.
The president has been heard saying that, off the cuff, he was just thinking that he liked the institution of the Philippine Constabulary. How did that hit you?
Actually, it's really a very ideal one, sir, considering that you have a civilian role and a military character. So if you'll be fighting an insurgency, you need military trained personnel.
And so, how young were you when you decided to when you entered as member of the Philippine Constabulary?
I think 19, sir.
19.
Yeah, because I took up 2 years civil engineering course.
Did anybody prod you to get into the service? Was it your father, your mother?
I think it's about being the eldest, and my parents are both teachers. And Sir Eric, during those times, if you are a public teacher, a school teacher, the salary is so small, and I was the eldest, and I'm having a civil engineering course, and it's really hard. You cannot really finance everything that you need in the university. So I decided to have a scholarship, and the Philippine Military Academy has a full scholarship grant.
So you took the exams and you passed it. So what class are you now?
I'm
90?
I'm a member of the Philippine Military Makatao class of 1989.
1999?
1989.
1989. I see. Okay. And then from there, you chose your branch of service.
Yes, sir.
You preferred to be in the police rather than in the, well, PC at that time is still military, no? But you decided to become PC.
Actually, sir, we have 4 branches of service before. So I was in the groupings. I have the chance to choose, and I choose Air Force. But during the exam, the physical exam, I failed in the deep perception. So there's a lot of my classmates who are really die-hard Air Force. So we changed. First, I changed to Navy. Then there's another classmate who is die-hard Navy. So I changed Navy to PC. And then when somebody was asking me to change to Arm, oh, no more, I'll just stay with the PC.
With the PC already.
Yes, sir.
And how was the experience being in the Philippine Constabulary, and then later on, the shift towards becoming a Philippine National Police? How were you able to right away adjust?
Actually, it's a more challenging experience, considering that from a military culture going to a more civilian character, sir. It's a bit the adjustment was quite not that smooth, especially that a national police at that.
And if I recall right, the police before were basically under the mayor.
Yes, sir.
And then the PC was like supervisor, just in case
Yes, sir.
a certain area would be declared under PC control, no?
Yes, sir.
By the president.
Yes, sir. And actually, the big difference is we are not under any local government executives. We can function. We could be a check and balance for the abusive politicians during that time. But when we have this new law creating the Philippine National Police, 6975, so we become more sensitive to the demeanor of our political leaders. So before, if we want to change something, it's up to us. But now we have to consult the governor, the mayors, and the different congressmen.
And in your class, there's always this, matter of 1 or 2 years, there's always a casualty. In your class, was there a casualty right away within 1 or 2 years?
Yes, sir. Actually, when we are having our ranger course in the Special Action Force, we have 1 casualty.
Okay.
My teammate, during the final phase of our ranger class, he was hit on the head. And then during our deployment in Davao, again, one of my company, meaning a PC company, with the Regional Special Action Force, and General Bato was one of our CO during the time. One of my classmates was again killed in action.
Your Mista who, became part of the casualty, but was he married? No.
No.
He was not married.
Yeah.
So he, because I know that after you graduate, everybody's in a rush to get married because you know how it is. Yeah, you'll never know. So he was not married.
Not married, but the one that get killed during our training was the breadwinner of their family in Pangasinan. So it was really sad for us. And the other one is single. He's from Cotabato, Second Lieutenant Alan Flores.
Your first assignment was where?
In Davao, sir.
Davao right away.
Yes, sir.
And how was that? How did that turn out?
During the time, the Sparrow units was very active in Davao, and Davao, as compared to now, is so different. So the peace and order now is really good. During that time, the traffic the traffic officer is a policeman or a military, and they are subject, or they are a target of this Sparrow operation, and a lot of them fell in the ground during that time. So Davao was really not that kind that we are seeing today. That's progressive and very peaceful.
The Sparrow units, people might have forgotten, were like the executioners, no?
The liquidation squad
liquidation
of the
squad,
New
yes.
People's Army.
Yes, and if I recall right, if you look at them, they do not look like they are killers.
Yeah.
Their height,
Yes,
their
sir.
body weight,
Yes, sir.
and they could carry a caliber 45 with shirts tucked in.
Yes, sir.
If you recall.
I can recall that vividly, sir, because after Mindanao, I was assigned with the Intelligence Service, or the IG, and we were into hunting the Alex Bungkayo Brigade, the dreaded
ABB.
Sparrow,
Yes.
this dreaded Sparrow unit of the Manila Rizal Party Regional Party Committee, and I was with then General Bugi Mendoza. He was my mentor during the time, and we working so hard to really account all this ABB, because they are really into the dirty tricks department of the NPA.
And that means since you were in the IG, you were also the target, the
Yes, sir.
exact target of these individuals.
Yes, sir.
How did that? I mean, did your wife know about this? I mean, did she realize the kind of threat level you were facing? I mean, how did you protect your family? How did she protect you? How did you console each other?
I have one advantage of marrying my wife during the time, because she is a daughter of a PC enlisted personnel, so she know what is the life of a military guy.
And how many children, if you don't mind?
Yes, sir. I have four.
You have 4 children
And I have 2 granddaughters.
already.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you look very young to have a granddaughter.
I'm old, sir. I just turned 54.
Okay, and then you must be a very proud grandfather then.
Yes, sir. I think it's basically the fulfillment of a human being, if you have to see the fruit of your children having
Grandchildren.
their own kids.
Yes, yes. Nobody wants to be a policeman, or somebody is intending to become or somebody's in the
actually-
academy already.
No, sir. Actually, I do not encourage them, because really public service is really a sacrifice. So I ask them to be just be a responsible Filipino citizen, and I'll be happy.
What were your other assignments around the country? From Davao, then you went back to NCR.
Yeah, I've been assigned to Iloilo. I've been assigned to Cotabato City.
So you can speak also Iloilo, a little Ilonggo.
Makaambal ta.
Okay.
Jutay, sir.
Okay. And
Kaya
then,
na murag Bisaya pod.
yes,
makasulti
yes.
ta.
How was Iloilo?
Iloilo, we were asked to clean up the port area in front of the PRO, because there were a lot of smugglers during that time, sir. And they are trying to build that port to be an international port. So we were tasked then by my boss, General Navarro, to really intensify our efforts against smugglers, drug traffickers, and other peddlers in that particular area.
Then from Iloilo, you moved to
Go back again to Davao.
Davao again.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but this time Davao was already a different city, or basically the same problems.
So it was in 2003. It was a bit progressing, because no less than now our president
Yes.
is the mayor. So the problem then was about terrorism. So when I arrived there was the Sasa Wharf bombing,
Yeah,
and
bombing,
the
yes,
Davao
yes.
Airport bombing, and again we've been to hunting all those terrorist cell in nearby province of Davao.
The mayor then had a way of handling the leftist component, no, the communist, and he had this ability to go inside their camps, no.
Yes.
Somehow, did that worry you, or did you advise him? You allowed him to go on his own when Republika returns? Okay, Okay, nagbabalik po ating programang Republika. Kausap pa rin po natin si Police Brigadier General Albert Ignatius Ferro, who has the best of both worlds, Quezon Province at Taganaga pa. So, how did then Mayor Duterte handle a situation like that? He was able to enter these camps. He would be able to have certain personnel from the service released on his own. Did he have any bodyguards? I mean, did you advise him not to do it? I mean, what was the secret?
Actually, the president was able to handle both sides. He's neutral to these insurgents that doesn't also stop us from operating against this lawless communist terrorist group. But I think he's just a neutral guy trying to protect Davao City from any atrocities during that time.
When he would go up, would he have any bodyguards? Would there be any police escort? Or who was with him at that time?
I think there are some policemen that is with him. But if you are going there, the mutual respect and the confidentiality is practiced by the insurgents, and they will not touch our policemen with the mayor.
But they were not asked to release their firearms as well? Not at all, no?
Not at all.
Oh,
Because,
because that would be... Okay. So, from Davao again, where did you go?
Davao, I went back to Manila with CIDG, and during the time, 911 syndrome was still in effect, and we were into counter-terrorism capacity building program with the Australian government, and I founded the Philippine Bomb Data Center, and I became the first director of the Philippine Bomb Data Center, and I was engaged more on counter-terrorism.
It was not actually a 911, no? We had a different call sign.
The September 11th. Sir.
Yeah, you're talking about the... Okay. Why were you more inclined towards anti-terrorism and then being part of the bomb data center?
Actually, incidentally, Sir Eric, I was a witness for the First World Trade bombing.
You were a witness? You
Yeah.
were in New York?
I was, no, we investigated the perpetrators in Manila.
You're talking about the Josefa apartments?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was the Major Bert Ferro that was mentioned by the 911 report.
Okay.
I was the one that get the information and was asked by the State Department to testify at the New York court against Ramsey, Murad, and the other perpetrators.
Who happened to be still in prison. I think one of them,
Yes,
Ramsey Yusuf, is
Ramsey
still in prison. Yes.
It was an accident that brought the attention of the police force, and Ramsey was able to escape. Murad, Abdul Hakim Murad, was caught by the police, and that guy spilled all the beans, including the blueprint for 911.
And the FBI did not listen.
I gave them the documents,
but they did not listen.
Maybe during the time they have different perception of what really
What would happen?
What would happen?
I recall there was even a Japanese tourist who died. No?
Yes, sir.
They practiced on the.
They have this so-called test run.
Yes.
They use a liquid explosives
Yes.
from Manila trip to Cebu.
Yes, exactly.
Then Cebu to Narita, Japan.
Yes.
But the Ramsey did not went to Japan.
Yes.
Instead, he went back to Manila.
Yes.
But the bomb was placed on the Philippine Airlines aircraft.
Yes.
And unfortunately for that Japanese guy, he just exchanged the seat with a Filipino passenger. And
he became the victim.
Became the victim, and it's good that the pilot was really skillful, that he was able to land it, and the whole aircraft was safe.
What people might have forgotten was that they were, I think they were they training the Philippines? I think they were training because their plan was to fly the airplanes from the Philippines to the US.
Yes, it was called Oplan Bujinka.
Bujinka, yes.
It's the plan was really to simultaneously explode this US-bound aircraft when they reach their destination, the mainland US. And,
from the Philippines, huh?
From the different sites,
Different
like
sites.
Singapore and Philippines. And the intention was place the explosives on the aircraft and the one that will go out from the plane from different destination, and when it will be synchronized, simultaneous explosion.
And then for the public, I don't know if you will also recall, they had plans of also assassinating the
The Pope.
Yes,
Yeah, we were-
using a Piper Cub or a small plane,
No, sir. They were planning to use a pipe bomb.
a pipe bomb.
We're able to recover that in Singalong,
Uh-huh.
and we were able to discover as well a Cossack, a suit for the cardinals, maybe it's or it's a high Catholic priest sutana,
Uh-huh.
and then and the sketch for the route of the Pope in
The
Ross
convoy,
Boulevard,
the
the convoy.
Uh-huh.
So we were able to stop that plan.
Fortunately, the smoke exited the rooms in
Yes, sir,
Josefa
in
apartments.
Don
no?
Josefa apartments. sir.
Yes, and that's
And there's a big smoke, and that particular apartment was a bomb factory. They were trying to get this locally produced materials, like they could get this acetone from mercury, and they were making a lot of nitroglycerin explosives, and they will try to place that in different couriers, cell members of this. They call themselves before Liberation Army. Now they are the Al Qaeda, and Ramsey is the most trusted lieutenants of Osama bin Laden.
yes, yes.
And it was part of the history that we discovered this cell in the Philippines, but never to think that it will be Al Qaeda, JI, ISIS, and
Yes.
then this.
This led to everything already
Yes, sir.
in the Philippines,
Yes, sir.
and thanks to you.
No, thanks to the divine providence, divine intervention, sir.
So now you are here in Region 7. Your initial reaction when you were assigned in Region 7, did you have already some kind of a perception or a precognition of what are the possible challenges that you would be facing here? Would they be unique in one sense, or will they be actually just similar to the other areas that you've been assigned to?
Actually, sir, I was surprised. I was the Deputy Regional Director for Operation of NCRPO with Sir De Bolsinas. And during that morning, I was preparing for the COVID-19 response. I was preparing the team that will be composing from the health service and from SOCO, so that we'll be able to respond at any time that will be needed. And suddenly, my cell phone rang, and it was the director for personnel. Overt, prepare. He will be a regional director of 11. Then suddenly, I heard from the cell phone, no, 7. It's the Chief PNP telling the DPRMO, it's you will be assigned as RD of PRO 7. As to the challenges, I think one of the challenges that I will be focusing also is into illegal drugs. So that's why when I first arrived here, I examine, I check what is the condition here, and try to study the different landscape in Central Visayas.
Where does the entry point come? Local manufacturing? Is it through the seas, ports, airports? What are the modes of entry for these drugs into Region 7?
By the way, sir, before I become the Deputy Regional Director for Operation, I was the Director of the PNP Drug Enforcement Group.
Okay.
So basically, sir, I have some
You have an idea
I have
already?
some idea,
Okay.
because when we start this drug campaign with the President on July 1, 2016, I was the Anti-Illegal Drug Group Director. So we tried to study it, use the different concept of problem tree analysis, SWOT analysis,
Yes.
and we're able to know the basic things about the cause and effects of why this problem is. In Central Visayas, we have a porous geographical condition.
Yes.
When I was trying to have checked police station during my first week, I saw in Cebu alone, I think there are 151 ports.
Okay.
And we have a lot of airstrips, and there is a RORO system.
Mhm.
So we are trying to make a border patrol system that will really check all those entry points. And as to whether these are locally made, during the early years of 2016, no, during the early years of the presidency of President Duterte, we're able to dismantle a lot of this manufacturing, this clandestine laboratory,
Mhm.
and totally for the drug cartel, it become a hard life for them to bring again this clandestine laboratory. So they go back to smuggling.
Mhm.
So we have seen they're going from the customs area, they're going to the airport's parcel system. So we have the ship side smuggling as well. So our drugs that are going to the Philippines are smuggled methamphetamine, hydrochloric, being the number one most abused drugs.
And then comes his parcel or ship to ship. How is it?
If you recall, sir, we have seen a lot of forms, different forms where shabu is being placed. Like we have the cylindrical during the time Paldon. We have this magnetic lifter, and then at the parcel they are placed on the different legitimate parcel companies.
Mhm.
So when I was again with PDEG, that we have a lot of seizure at the airports.
Mhm.
Some of them coming from the United States.
Mhm. Are we adopting the best practices, customs control, border patrol in
Yes,
other
sir.
countries in order
Yeah.
to be able to capture these kinds of illicit activities?
Yes, sir. But for me, sir, I think we have to strengthen our maritime forces.
Mhm.
We have to strengthen the Coast Guard, the Philippine Navy, and the PNP Maritime Group.
Mhm.
Because for me, a good maritime security force will maybe will not be an easy access for these drug traffickers.
We don't have, how do I call it, human carriers in Peru, for example, in England, where you have swallowers of
Yes, sir. We have that, sir.
drugs. Uh, we also have that coming in.
That's the mule,
Yes, the
the
mule.
swallowers.
Yes. Yeah.
Actually, sir, OFWs are being victimized by, especially with the South African drug trafficking syndicate. They pay an amount that cannot be denied by these Philippine overseas contract workers, and they swallow it. They have this operation in their body, and they place this cocaine and other drugs, illegal drugs. So in going to the Philippines, it's seldom, but our OFW are being used by this
To travel abroad.
to travel to Europe, travel to other parts of the world, sir.
So the mules coming in is not too much of a problem. It's the ones that are going out.
Yes, sir.
As a policy, do we try to stop them, or we really do not identify them and leave that up to the areas where they are about to enter?
Let me explain, sir. These swallowers, this mule, are outside the Philippines, but they are Filipino overseas contract
I
workers.
see. Okay.
Not really from the
They're
drugs are not
from
coming
here
from.
going
Yes,
out.
sir.
Okay.
They are maybe in Malaysia, Singapore, but going to the Philippines is seldom. Most of these are going to the customs area.
Mhm. Is Region 7 a transshipment point, or is it a point of destination for drugs? Because I recall then Senator Soto would say that the Philippines was a transshipment point. Is the Philippines still a transshipment point, or we have now become a point of destination?
We need to differentiate what type of drugs we are talking about, sir.
Mhm.
If it is cocaine, we are a transshipment point. If it
Mhm.
is methamphetamine hydrochloride, we are our destination.
Mhm.
Philippines is a destination because we have consumer here that really is a big and lucrative business
Mhm. Mhm.
for drug traffickers.
And our greatest challenge will be methamphetamine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you said customs, you talked about through parcel. How about ship to ship? That's not too much. There's not too many of that.
That is a big possibility, sir. That's a big possibility. Unfortunately, we cannot monitor the long coastline
Yes.
and the we need really to strengthen the Philippine Navy so that our international waters will be protected. Here in Cebu, we are trying to come up with an integrated coastal patrolling system, wherein we will empower our local government and the local police to patrol the what we call the municipal waters.
In terms of incinerators, are you pushing that local government should come up with their own respective incinerators with, in partnership with PDEA, the PNP, the media, every time they burn, shabu?
Yes, sir.
Because I think we make use of cement factories to burn, like Semexco is one of them where we burn drugs. So would you encourage LGUs to come up with their own portable incinerators for these things?
I think, sir, it's the PDEA that will make a technical working group to come up with a good plan. Because if we just allocate that to LGUs, it's not safe, sir.
Okay. Magko-commercial lang po tayo ng ilang minuto pagkatapos babalik po ang ating programa. We're still talking to Police Brigadier General Albert Ignatius Ferro. He is the Police Director for Region 7. So, we were talking about drugs a while ago, no? Drugs is indeed a great problem. Have we really quantified as far as Region 7? I mean, how much is the trade doing? Or we're still trying to figure out the numbers or the figures in terms of Region 7?
Actually, sir, it is a continuing process. We are doing this validation on the affectation of barangays. We quantify the affectation through slightly affected, moderately affected, seriously affected barangays. And up to this time, we need really to have a exact standards on how we will quantify the seriousness of every barangay. So.
When it comes to Region 7, what provinces should we mention? Are you really carefully watching in terms of the drug problem?
Of course, Cebu City is,
Cebu City
because the number of seizure here are big. Meaning, if the source for the other like the other cities and the other province, Cebu City is for me is the center of this transaction. And lately, when we have this synchronized Greyhound operation on the different VGMP jails, we were able to find out that they are still using cell phones, and the transaction is emanating from the de facto, I term this de facto command and control of the drug traffickers, because the one that is linking the traffickers outside are from the inside the jail.
So these are the, how they call it, the mafia bosses are the ones inside the jail, if I would put it that way.
Because they were caught, they are high-valued individuals, and then they are inside the jail, and they have nothing to lose. So they were able to connect from international connection, networking, and then go to the national penitentiary, which believe it. That's the link.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
But are they still cooking inside the BJ? I mean, inside Muntinlupa? Wala na siguro.
My last chance to see what is happening at the National Review Prison was last January. So when we have this Greyhound at the Bilibid, we haven't seen any cooking equipment to that effect for those but here in Cebu as well, there's no evidence that there was a kitchen type of clandestine material laboratory.
Nobody in Muntinlupa died, no, in terms of known high value targets, no?
So far, sir.
So far. I'm just throwing that out. Okay. But here the source of communication is the cell phone.
Yes, sir.
So that means they either brought it in or somebody brought it in for them.
Yes, sir.
In other countries, I don't know whether it's possible here, there is such a thing as no contact policy with the visitors, In the US, they have a glass, no? You can talk, but you cannot exchange anything. If you want to exchange something, it goes through the police before it's given.
Yes, sir.
I don't know whether that's being done here, or it's face-to-face. It's still face-to-face.
Yes, sir. It's face-to-face, and we allow these conjugal visits.
Okay.
And then we have this family visitation. So really, we cannot really avoid to have this kind of smuggled contrabands inside the jail. And we cannot also discount that there are corrupt jail guards.
Yes.
And because they are easily bribed, or they easily given money that they cannot refuse.
How about if you remove the coverage of cell phones and make it a total blackout in that area?
We have done that, sir, but
It still doesn't work, huh?
It worked, but it's the attitude of some of our jailers that if they are bribed, we might as well use discipline jailers.
What do? They put on their Wi-Fi.
They have.
They have portable Wi-Fi so that
Yes,
it can be used. It can be switched on and off.
Yes, sir. Actually, in Muntinlupa, they have that. But during the last Greyhound, last February 29, we're not able to get this portable Wi-Fi. But we were able to get a number of cell phones.
So that actually, I think part of the problem is once you can remove the communication, that's already a big win as far as the drug problem is concerned, no? The distribution. No?
Yes, sir. One good thing about this, sir, is the interagency cooperation. Our BGMP counterpart here in Cebu are very cooperative. So we're able to find out those contraband.
The President mentioned Talisay. Why Talisay?
Because maybe of the magnitude of users and a lot of criminalities that is happening in Talisay. But now, I think it's improving. The last time I visited Talisay at Sitio Ratan, Barangay Tangke, we donated this CR, 4 CR. We repaired and give it to the constituents of Mayor Gulyas.
Yes.
And Mayor was very supportive with our with our PNP unit there at, and he was able to support our policemen there, sir.
Just a final word before we move into perhaps counterinsurgency, and you still support mandatory drug testing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Don't you think even politicians, public officials should be taking mandatory, and even our jeepney drivers and everybody else? What do you think?
Yes, sir. Because it will really tell us that we are not a drug user if we have this scientific test. When I arrived in PRO7 after my first command conference, I have a surprise drug test of all of my commanders, including me. That was my fourth drug test, because in NCRP we have always have this random instant drug test during conference. So we are doing this for our drug enforcement unit here in PRO7, and I think we have one confirmed policeman who confirmed positively using illegal drugs.
Okay, so after drugs, what is the next problem in Region 7? Is counterinsurgency? Would that be fair to say?
Yes, sir. Actually, it's not a big problem. We have only one seriously affected problem, which is Negros. So Bohol, they are trying to recover the lost grounds of the mass base of this communist terrorist group. But Negros is our priority, sir.
When you talk about Negros, you talk about Negros Oriental, Negros Occidental?
The Dumaguete side, sir. Negros Oriental.
Oriental.
Yes, sir.
In particular, Gihulgan. Is that where the center of gravity is?
It's the center of gravity now, sir. Lately, the army have a encounter with this CTG, sir.
Why Gihulgan in particular? I mean, there are a lot of mountainous areas there. You have Cuernos de Negros there. But why Gihulgan seems to be the center of the cauldron?
Maybe because they have this strong mass base. Second is the boundary. It's the boundary between the other province, and they crisscross boundary. And maybe we need to know what are the existing problem. Maybe it's poverty and other issues that affect insurgency, sir. So that place might be a problematic place, but it's a city. It's a city.
Is local governance a problem also in terms of in Gihulngan? If you have sympathetic barangay captains and what have you in a certain area?
Yes, sir. I think it's a big problem if our barangay officials or city officials are into siding with our communist terrorist group. Remember, sir, that before we have this shadow city, shadow barangays, and these are established on a legitimate local government entities in our country, like in Mindanao, in Compostela Valley, where I was assigned as the provincial director. We have seen a lot of this, but through the whole of government approach, the bayanihan system, we are able to somehow dismantle this shadow government, sir.
What are your plans, if you can tell the public, in terms of Gihulngan or for the Negros side?
I think it should be it's not our only responsibility. It should be the shared responsibility of our
All
local
agencies.
government and the community themselves. They should say no to insurgency because it hampers their progress, sir.
So, I've noticed this also, you know, when you travel from one town to the next. In Gihulngan, I have not been there though. How is the police station there? Is it built in? Does it look like a regular police station, or does it look like a police station that is ready for the status of the insurgency that it is confronted with?
I think, sir, you know how we protect our camps. We have this security protocol as well.
Yes.
So we are servant to the community, so we should be not be like a garrison.
Yes.
It should be it should look like as a police station, but it should protect it. It should be protected from these NPAs.
Because sometimes it worries me because, like, for example, in San Jose, Negros Oriental, when you go to the police station, it looks very inviting to, you know,
To attack.
Yeah, to attack, in short. You know, a group of NPAs arrive there, and you know what will happen. No? So that's why it worries me sometimes. So I hope in Gihulngan, and do you have checkpoints along? Are you
Yes,
going
sir.
to come out with checkpoints
Actually,
also
sir,
along
we
Negros?
are intensifying checkpoints in the whole province of Negros, especially in Gihulngan, because lately we have an encounter with the army. And during that day, we establish our checkpoints, and the police become the blocking force of the military operation.
Are we reevaluating our protocols there because of what happened to the chief of police there? If you remember, there was that misencounter. The protocols were not well established, and there should have been, well, of course, because of the communications are different, different handheld communications.
Yes, sir. We are somehow addressing the interoperability of the different communication system of the armed forces and the police, and we are closely coordinating with our military counterparts. It's good that the brigade commander is my classmate, so we will have no problem coordinating with our military counterparts. The division commander is my senior, so we talk already. I talked with the brigade commander, and we plan to make more coordination meetings, simulated exercise, so as to have a comprehensive, systematic response to any threat that these CTGs will be doing to us.
So as far as Negros is concerned, it's basically just Gihulngan, and how are you trying to partner with the local governments in terms of trying to help the PNP?
Actually, yes, sir.
For purposes of counterinsurgency.
Actually, sir, there is one big best practice that we know, the declaration of persona non grata of this communist terrorist group. We are encouraging our local government. If they are really with the government
Yes.
and not sympathetic to the other side,
Yes.
they should declare and place placards, place posters in different parts of the municipalities or cities that they are against this insurgents, this armed struggle of this communist terrorist group. And they will declare through resolution that these people are persona non grata.
The DILG is also helping you along this effort.
Yes, sir. It's EO70, the
Okay.
aircraft. So we are closely working together, sir.
Okay, so we're giving the public, no, from drugs, we're going to counterinsurgency. What other problems do you foresee in your watch that you would like to address?
Well, first of all, we know Cebu is there's a lot of loose firearms.
Yes.
Loose firearms here. So, in terms of manufacturing, sir, the what we call the paltik. So, I will try to address that. During the first month of my stint here, sir, we were able to confiscate a lot of these loose firearms. And we have 4 focus operations: illegal drugs, illegal gambling. On illegal gambling, we declare that we have this policy we call no-take policy.
Okay.
And I asked all the chief of police, all the provincial commanders, to sign a document. In the presence of media, the whole PRO7 signed it. I signed it myself, and we have shown it to the public that we adhere to the program of our GPNP, which is the no-take policy, especially on illegal gambling and other forms of illegal activities.
I know this is very commendable, especially when you come up with this anti-gambling. No, I hope the PCSO will, in some way, will also help the police after you sign this.
Yes, sir. Actually, we have problem with the Peryahan ng Bayan, sir, because we have directed from the higher headquarters that Peryahan ng Bayan is suspended, and then we operated against this Peryahan ng Bayan. But I think in today's newspaper, they will be filing counter charges to the PNP of the PRO7 personnel who conducted the raids against Peryahan ng Bayan.
I don't know whether this might help, but maybe somebody should look at the possibility of PCSO somehow giving extra benefits for men in uniform.
Yes, sir.
The police personnel, death benefits, uniform benefits, hospital benefits, in order that the anti-gambling project will really succeed. Because then now there are benefits that will also accompany the signing of the anti-gambling declaration.
I think it's not on me, sir, to...
I know. That's why I'm stating this. I hope they understand what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
Tayo na lang nagkakaintindihan pag gano'n ang usapan natin. But this will really help a lot in the anti-gambling, which is not really a new idea, because it was also done in San Juan by then Mayor Joseph Estrada.
Yes.
And it worked.
Yes.
But I have to really commend you for coming up with something like this, because, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you're one of the very few who came up with this, no?
No, sir, it's the order of the GPNP, General Archie Gamboa. During one conference, that the no-take policy is still in effect.
Okay.
When he started as OIC of the PNP,
He came out with this.
with this idea, including BMI,
Okay.
the Body Mass Index program
To make our policemen fit
Okay.
in the field. So, those are the programs
that are being done by our GPNP, and it's very
commendable that these programs
especially the no-take policy will help us on
we will not be compromised.
we cannot compromise with these people around us here in
Central Visayas.
When you talk about BMI, you're talking about physical fitness.
Yes, sir.
I remember during
Ping Lakson.
the GPNP Lacson's time, you had to
30.
be 34.
32.
32,
Yes, sir.
which
34. Yeah,
34, which I found a little bit, because people are tall, short, so it should really be based on BMI. I
Yes,
think
sir.
so.
Yes, sir.
But I was just quiet about it. But this is correct. And you are also doing this. You have daily exercises for
Yes,
your
sir.
people.
I myself is an athletic person. I'm inclined really to have this program of our GPNP to be implemented on the different police station, province. And during the last conference, our score is we have the top scorer in the whole PROs in the nation. Our BMI program here is working, meaning our people are reacting, because it will affect our grades as well if our rating, our unit performance evaluation rating will be affected if a lot of us are obese, overweight, and not reacting to the call of times of like Zumba, exercise, diet, and then healthy lifestyle.
Is there any program here in Region 7 which we could say maybe 5 years from now or 2 years away from now, we would say, si Police Brigadier General Ferro ang nagpakulo niyan. Talagang sa kanya yung plano na yan.
Yes, sir. I have this program when I was still with the Drug Enforcement Group. I coined this Project Ready because the strategy on anti-illegal drugs is two-pronged for me. One is supply reduction, second is demand reduction. The second being a preventive initiative or strategy is more strategic for me. It's more, we should, because even if you seize a lot, but the demand side is not addressed properly, then we have big problem. Now, Project Ready.
Project Ready is supply and
So, Project Ready is more about demand reduction.
demand reduction.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Ready is a acronym for Resistance Educations Against Drugs for the Youth.
Okay.
Ready, R-E-D-Y. When I was with the PNP Drug Enforcement Group, we were able to produce module from grade 1 to grade 12. It differs on the cognitive level of the children. So we will not teach the young kids about the sensitivity or the complication of drugs. It will be adjusted up to the time that they could understand how to resist drugs. So what I intend is really to have a project ready officers, increase the number here in Central Visayas, and ask the help of the different NGOs like the Couples for Christ is throwing their support to us in Project Ready. They are willing to teach public school, private school, and out of school youth group, because the family-based initiative of trying to impart how we could resist, how we could identify these drugs, because there are gateways to drugs, and how we could resist will be the best, one of the best thing. But we will be intensifying our project on our efforts on the supply reduction. We will not stop. We will look for these high-valued individuals, street-level individuals, and we will prosecute them.
You're going down to grade school level?
Yes, sir. Up to grade 12.
That's very good. That's very good. Actually, that's where the battle is.
Yes, sir.
For the children and families. That's why
Yes.
Couples for Christ is a very good approach.
Yes, sir. Because, as I have said a while ago, sir, we tried to study why this drug problem is in our country. We were able to identify one factor, which is these functionalities on the families. Meaning, some of the parents are not really on the family, like in their house. Their parents are OFW, or they are working so hard that they cannot attend to the everyday activity of the children. So when I was with PdG, this regional director of DepEd in Region 3 come about with how we could make a good module. Meaning, he want to the good moral characters thing, the patriotism, the sense of discipline is being incorporated, because the day program is more on the drug issue, meaning
Rehabilitation.
not really rehabilitation, sir, knowing what is the effect of drugs and how we could resist it. But this time around, we are incorporating Filipino values and how to be a good citizen. Filipino.
How about, have you tried looking into seeing how many, how do you call it, mga kapilya? Bawat barangay, maraming mga kapilya yan eh.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you can also use that as part of the module so that you'll be talking to, each one has its own leaders.
Yes.
And then you can unite them, and then they become a strong force against also drugs in their respective areas. I don't know if that's one way of approaching
I
it.
think it's a very good step to doing it, sir, because I was able to visit Bishop Palma. I asked him if they could help us, and he was very much willing to help us in how we could use the pulpit to tell their followers about how they could help in stopping drugs.
Yeah, even parish anti-drug councils would be fine.
Yes, sir.
And then you can bring it down to the level of the capillas.
Yes, sir.
This anti-drug councils, and I'm sure this will cascade to be able to focus also on the preventive side, no?
Yes, sir.
So drugs, gambling, anti-insurgency, crime. What is the most? What do you notice about crime here in Region 7? What is the most common? Theft, robbery. What could it be? Riding in tandem.
Actually, sir, what we have this enhanced managing police EMPO, enhanced managing police operation. We are able to identify what we call the 8 focus crime against person and crime against property plus illegal drugs. So 8 focus crime plus anti-illegal drugs. That will be our focus, and I already directed our different chief of police, city directors, and provincial police office to come up with a reliable crime mapping. They should have this crime clock, they should have this crime date, and the intensity on crime against a person like murder, homicide, theft, rape,
Index, in short, an
physical,
index.
physical injury, and against property, theft, robbery, carnapping, motorcycle. So those are being addressed. So every time that I visit a police station, I should see their drug mapping.
In one
their
glance.
crime. Yes, sir. Drug mapping, crime mapping, so that at a glance, every chief of police or every police that are operating, they will know what is their problem. You know, we subscribe to the sound chew of knowing the enemy, knowing the problem will be the first step in trying to know what you should do.
Would you like to introduce here the 3-digit emergency call for police? No. Region 7.
I think, sir, we should do that, sir. And in coordination with our local government, because
They might have a good platform on emergency calls.
And then so that they can report right away to PRO 7 with regards to this, yung mga emergency calls, no? Especially
Yes.
for mga reports, no?
yes, sir.
Final word to our public.
First of all, I would like to express our gratitude for the invitation that you have given us to be part of your program, Republika. And to the Cebuanos, to the Cebuano community here in Central Visayas, we would like to request your utmost cooperation to your amigo cops, PRO 7, your friendly cops. Please extend your help, especially in reporting crimes, so that we could prevent crimes here. And we would like to see Region 7 to be progressive, peaceful, and tourist-friendly region in the country.
Okay, on that note, yan po ang kabuuan na nating isang oras. Pasalamatan po natin si Police Brigadier General Albert Ignatius Ferro. Siya po ang ating tatay na at dapat nating lapitan sa mga problema natin dito sa buong Region 7 o Central Visayas. Yan po ang kabuuan ng ating programa Republika. Ako po si Espina. Palagi pong nagsasabing magmasid, makialam, higit sa lahat ay manindigan dahil wala pong magmamahal sa Pilipino kung hindi ang Pilipino. Daghang salamat, maayong gabi kaninyong tanan.